organizers for inviting me to speak today. As I've listened to several of the presentations over the last 2 days, I hear a consistent theme of teachers and educators thinking about how to more thoroughly engage students, how to help them learn, and how to keep them in school because they are excited about what they're learning. And I will tell you that although the specifics are unique to India, I think teachers all over the world have a similar question and similar concerns. How do we engage students more thoroughly? So I'd like to talk today just very briefly about a technology that has, at least in initial trials, and I'll go through how we've done that, has shown great promise in engaging students, and that is 3D, which you probably are familiar with from the movies. First, I'd like to just bring exactly who we are. You may know TI from our educational products. Of course, we do graphing calculators and also new Inspire product. We've been in India for 25 years now. We have a large research R&D center in Bangalore. But the products that we do here that I'm going to talk about today are actually a digital display device. They're what's in projectors that are used in classrooms, and they're used by over 50 display manufacturers. So we make the display that's inside those end products, inside those projectors, and they're used in a variety of projectors. They could be included in an interactive whiteboard solution that you would see in a classroom or a single standalone projector. But they're also used in digital cinema, which is now rapidly replacing regular film projectors in cinemas. And you'll see there's an important tie here in 3D. And they're also used in things as small as a mobile phone. You can actually put a projector now inside a mobile phone. And you can see a picture of the projected image coming out of a phone onto a hand. So we do everything from very, very small to very large cinemas where you're talking about potentially 20 or 30 meter screens. So that's a background on the company. So I'd like to talk about where the status of 3D is right now, a pilot program that we've done in schools, what the results are, which is actually a video clip, and then where this might go next. Okay? Right now I think we're in the middle, I think it's fair to say, of a 3D revolution. 3D was around in the 1950s, and there were some really probably pretty awful films made based on that, like Creature of the Black Lagoon, etc. And then it went into hibernation for a while, but it's really emerged in the last few years. And I would say Avatar has probably affected that more than any other film on a global basis. So there are dozens of 3D movies in production, and that's really been enabled. What's changed is that there's been advancements in displays, but there's also been advancements in content and how you shoot 3D so that it's more engaging and doesn't cause some of the eye strain that past 3D has. And speaking of Avatar, of course, directed by James Cameron, he actually, little known fact, he did 2 documentaries 7 or 8 years ago that he shot in 3D. And if you watch those carefully, you'll see he was testing how to shoot in 3D. He tried a lot of different techniques, and some of them worked, and quite frankly, some of them didn't work. But I think that it's fair to say that what he learned from that helped him develop more effective 3D content for Avatar. So, for example, one of the rules is that you don't have things jump out of the screen at your nose, because if you do that, it's very hard to focus on that. It causes a lot of discomfort in the eyes. The last statement I'd make is that kids love 3D. If you go to any of these movies, you will see, at least my children, will only go see the 3D version of the movie. They will no longer accept going to a 2D because they find this very, very engaging, and they are very accepting of this technology. Well, serendipity, one day we thought about, really we could enable that 3D technology that's in our customers' digital cinemas, and we could put that very easily in the very small, affordable projectors that are used in classrooms today. The interactive whiteboards are just on a screen. And so we decided to try that, and we did some teacher pilot programs with a number of schools, both in the US and the UK. The setup was a 3D ready projector and also some 3D educational content, which is now becoming available. There's about 8 companies in the world that are starting to develop 3D educational content. And one of them is actually here today, or on the exhibition floor at DesignMate. The methodology was we would use one classroom with 3D and another classroom without 3D, teach the same lesson, and then test the results. So did the students who learned in 3D, did they actually learn more than the students who had a 2D or a normal teaching method? We had a variety of classrooms, and we tested across both gifted and talented students, some who were academically and, quite frankly, behaviorally challenged. We used new and experienced teachers. And the results, what we found in these experiments were that students were more engaged, a higher level of student interest in learning, and they were able to better understand abstract concepts. So if you think about what you would use 3D for, spatial, let's say the planets revolving around the sun, maybe understanding a pyramid, things that have a lot of spatial content to them. So I can talk all I want about the results, but I'll let the students and teachers talk themselves. Now it's not working. Yeah, if we could escape. Yeah, absolutely.
Our fabulous guest is going to kind of do the experience with you and see is how you interact every day with the 3D technology.
A lot of times you'll introduce something and then you lose their attention. With the 3D thing, they're paying attention the whole time.
So that's called the DLC chip, and Texas Instruments makes that chip.
You may now put your glasses on. So when I got the 3D out, they were zoned in, and I'd never seen anything like it. For the green, you have 3 times 2 times 4. The red, 7 times 2 times 2.
Everybody was watching. Everybody's eyes were on the screen. Nobody was looking to the side or talking during the lesson at all.
So how is class different now because having a lesson this is more educational and you get more out of it than watching a movie?
The first time we used it, they didn't want me to stop because they were finally having fun learning. What are they doing around that side? Remember that word?
It was really fun to have it in 3D. It would be there. You could just feel like it was right there being taught to you instead of just reading out of a textbook.
It's the biggest planet. Remember how many moons?
63.
63. Very good.
Do you feel like you're learning more when you're having lots of fun?
What is the answer, everybody? 1, 2.
With movies, you'll forget, and it's not that educational, but with the 3D learning, you get to learn while you're doing something fun.
In humans, the senses are often all working together.
What do we call the bright spots?
Sunspots.
Are they sunspots? We call those flares. The sunspots are the dark spots.
It's kind of hard after teaching so many years, coming up with some different ideas of how to get the kids engaged or excited about learning. And so with the 3D thing, it's like pretty cool.
What's that? So, how do I get to make it full screen? Yeah. So to wrap up, I think the next steps, we would like to duplicate this pilot program in India. I have to tell you, I expect very similar results. I know there's a lot of interest in 3D movies and engagement from children already around the movies, so I expect similar results, but I think it would be worth doing that here as well. I think also identifying and continuing to develop more high-value content. You don't want to do all content for Classroom in 3D. I think just the ones that primarily around math and science, where you really have the spatial aspect to it and really help the students grasp those more difficult concepts. And I think ultimately integrating that into the curriculum or syllabus so that teachers can find that very easily. They don't have to go hunting for it. It's just an option. If they have a 3D projector in their classroom or lab, they could use it. I think I also heard a lot of teachers or a lot of educators talking about it's important that teachers and ultimately students can develop their own content and be creative with that. And fortunately, there's some 3D content development tools that are starting to become available. Even 2 or 3 years ago, a 3D camera was probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now you're starting to see that already down to about $1,000 since there's so much interest in 3D. And we expect that cost to come down even more in the near future. So just in summary, I think this is a fairly unique opportunity for India because you're really just at the beginning of adopting ICT, which often includes projectors, interactive whiteboards. And this technology can be provided at really very little or no additional cost. It's really just unlocked by what's inside the projector. Thank you.